how the wedding industry is trying to make a comeback during the pandemic. A local sports group taking donations to help their players. The latest on the coronavirus in the U.S.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some of that white stuff is falling from the sky again, leading to some winter weather advisories for some counties in our area. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Chris Warner. We go straight to meteorologist Nick Kelly with an update on our forecast.
And good evening to you, Chris. We have seen this fast-moving storm system work on through today with some light snow for many of you, but in our northern or northeastern counties, we've seen a little bit more in the way of accumulating snow. As far as what's left of this wave, winter weather advisory is in the blue until midnight as we start heading into Sunday. And I'll tell you, it has been interesting to see this system unfold as we went throughout the course of the day. As advertised, as Doug said, we did see some areas of light rain showers in our southern counties late in the morning and a couple of areas of snow where it was cold enough to the north of Joplin. But now we're seeing the back edge, or the backside rather, of this wave fill in with colder air in place. That means one last band of snow, mainly along, if I can trace this area on my trackpad here, to the east of 69. That is the last of the very light snow. That maybe could bring another very light coating or dusting for some. Otherwise, we'll just look forward to a cold and dry night ahead of us. Cold enough already, though. We're in the mid to upper 20s across much of the area. I see us dropping back into the teens tonight. And unfortunately, Chris, I have more waves to watch in the week ahead and Arctic air on the way, too. Like it or not, we'll have to break this all down coming up in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Well, the wedding industry is among those being hard hit by COVID-19. The Wild Iris Event Center had just opened at the start of the pandemic. They were shut down completely for 3 months, but are now trying to reopen following COVID guidelines.
Yes, we were completely shut down for 3 months, and then now we are open, but there are a few guidelines that we follow and not as many people in your building as you would normally have.
The weddings are still happening. They just include more masks and hand sanitizer than before the pandemic. World Class Sports held their annual J.L. Hutchinson Baseball Equipment Drop-Off. What a title. And it's a title that helps a number of families. It's even more helpful this year as the event was canceled last year. People were able to bring their new or slightly used equipment to World Class for families in need to use for the upcoming season. Donations included some of the obvious things like baseballs, cleats, pants, bats, bat bags, and helmets.
We know that baseball gear adds up and it gets expensive once you start buying everything, and so the last thing we want is cost to be a factor for parents to have their kids not play baseball. So anything we can do to help with that, we try to do with this equipment exchange.
Families will be able to take home the gear starting February the 13th. Officials say inmates at a St. Louis jail set fires, caused flooding, broke out windows, and tossed several items outside today in a disturbance over concerns about the pandemic and restrictions that have limited visits and stalled court proceedings. The incident happened at the St. Louis City Justice Center. Officials say it took dozens of law enforcement officers several hours to bring the riot under control, and there were about 115 inmates involved. The number of reported coronavirus cases in Oklahoma has surpassed 400,000. There were 2,053 new cases reported by the state health department, making a total of 401,780. An additional 51 deaths were reported, bringing that total in the state to 3,761. Now, data from Johns Hopkins University shows Oklahoma was 4th in the nation for the number of new cases per capita. However, the same data shows the 7-day rolling average of deaths in the state fell during the past 2 weeks. The Oklahoma Geological Survey has reported several earthquakes southeast of Enid in the north-central part of the state. Now, the strongest was a magnitude 4.2. The other two have been 3.7 and 3.5. Officials say, of course, there have been no injuries or damage from the quakes on Friday. And a consulting firm is now helping Missouri identify vaccine deserts to try and make the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines as equitable as possible. Now, the Missouri Independent reports that Deloitte Consulting told the Missouri Advisory Committee on Equitable COVID-19 Vaccine Distribution that the goal is to identify places where residents have little or no access to vaccines. The The company says vaccine deserts remain concerning in parts of North St. Louis and the I-435 corridor in Kansas City. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Gene Day served with the Army as a medic in 1945 with the 78th Infantry. He received the Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, his hometown, Tulsa. We are proud to recognize Gene Day, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about other heroes, or if you'd like to submit one of your own, all you have to do is head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that is a look at some of our top stories and a quick check of the forecast on the KOAM News at 6. Still ahead, a different kind of COVID testing taking place at a hotel in Wuhan. Plus, the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic back here in the U.S. A team of experts led by the World Health Organization visiting the central Chinese city of Wuhan took nucleic acid tests at a hotel on Saturday. Now, the team is conducting field work to investigate the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic and spent 2 weeks in a quarantine hotel following their arrival in Wuhan. Security guards near the hotel tried to prevent journalists from filming the nucleic acid testing, which involves a swab sample being taken from the back of a person's throat or respiratory tract. The sample is then tested for the presence of the coronavirus genome. The WHO investigators have been staying in the hotel for the past 2 days. The Pentagon is sending more than 1,000 active duty troops to the front lines of vaccine distribution in the U.S. Some will assist the vaccination effort at new sites in California, with other locations to be announced. The Food and Drug Administration is considering giving Johnson & Johnson emergency use authorization for a single-shot vaccine. So far, more than 36.8 million shots of the vaccines currently on the market have been administered. 7.5 million people are now fully vaccinated. New daily infections are down almost 30% over the last 2 weeks. All of this as more than 454,000 people have died from the virus. Michael George has the latest on the war against the pandemic.
More and more mega vaccination sites opened this week in all kinds of places. Casinos in Missouri. In New York, Yankee Stadium's launch was complete with a legendary player.
He used to save ball games. Now he's helping us save lives.
Mariano Rivera asked everyone to play ball.
Now it's time to support you and let you know that it's okay to be vaccinated.
And the National Football League wants into the game too, offering its 32 stadiums as vaccination sites. All that real estate may be needed. Distribution of a vaccine developed by Johnson & Johnson is now before the FDA for emergency use authorization. The FDA's green light could make 100 million doses available by summer, with the advantage of being a single dose, shown to be 66% effective in preventing moderate and severe COVID cases, and 85% effective against the most severe symptoms. It would be the third vaccine, joining Moderna and Pfizer's stressed supplies.
Clearly, we don't have enough of the Moderna, Pfizer RNA vaccines right at this point to deal with the pandemic in the U.S., let alone the world.
Variants spreading fast could threaten the progress already made. One variant from South Africa was found in Virginia, now one of 3 states reporting cases. And the B.1.1.7 strain, first appearing in England, showed up in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
This person was obviously exposed by someone else, and likely that there is this variant that is already present in Kalamazoo County.
Meanwhile, the CDC is telling parents in-person school can be done with a reasonable degree of safety even before staff get fully vaccinated. They're expected to announce updated guidelines this week to get children back in school. Well, sleep deprivation could be more harmful as you age, and how heart attacks affect coronavirus patients. Chris Martinez has some of this week's top health stories.
A Swedish study finds people infected with COVID-19 have a higher risk of dying after having a heart attack. That's especially true for women with coronavirus, who were 9 times more likely to die after a heart attack. Not getting enough sleep could lead to more depressive symptoms for older adults. That's according to a new study in the Journal of American Geriatric Society, which also found that exercise and mindfulness could help relieve stress for adults as they become more frail. And working outdoors may lower a woman's risk of breast cancer after age 50. Exposure to more sunlight boosts vitamin D levels, which is known to help prevent cancer and infection. Research published in Occupational and Environmental Medicine found women who worked outdoors for 20 years or longer had a 17% lower risk of being diagnosed with breast cancer. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Nick Kelly is up next with his complete forecast and what we can expect in the way of snowfall.
As advertised, not only did we see our cold front work on through today, but we had that upper level wave bring in some rain and snow across parts of the area. Still have to contend with that for a few more hours. You can see with the winter weather advisory lasting until midnight for areas in the blue. But overall, we are on the backside of this wave that's producing enough moisture for rain and snow, at least to start the day out. But now you can see on the tail end of it, after we had some light showers south of I-44 this morning, a couple of light snow showers north of Joplin. Now that the backside of this wave coming in, the waves itself is really coming together, but it's just doing so right as it clears on out. So we can see right now the heaviest of the snow, if you want to call it heaviest, it's not picking up too heavy on our color legend there, all along and east of US 69. That's where the last of the snow is. That's continuing to march toward the east. That could be another dusting to half an inch for some of you. Then we're going to quiet things down as we head through the rest of the night. As far as temperatures go, certainly enough, we've cooled down quite a bit. 50 yesterday, a high of 41 early this morning. Then we've been dropping ever since that cold front has swept on through. Still a little bit of snow around Joplin with mostly cloudy skies otherwise. 27 right now with the north wind at 21, making it feel like 13. Whether you're in the immediate Joplin metro area or across much of the four-state region in general. Most of us in the mid to upper 20s to near 30 with temperatures not done dropping off yet. We'll fall through the 20s for the rest of the night, down into the teens. I think most of you around Joplin will bottom out around 15. So a cold night for sure. But again, the last of the snow is pushing off toward the east. Now it's an issue for central and eastern parts of Missouri. While we continue to see the cold front work on off to the south with high pressure, keeping us mainly quiet for your Super Bowl Sunday, it's all about that big, mean upper level low just north of Minneapolis. That's going to make next week pretty interesting. Let's just put it that way. In the short term, though, the last of the snow again, give it about 3 or 4 more hours, then it's completely out of here. And then we'll just have to stick with mostly cloudy skies and a cold night for everybody, with overnight lows dropping off to about 15. Even though we're going to stick with a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, we're going to eventually see a southeast wind by noon and a southerly breeze by the afternoon. That should be enough just to get us into the mid-30s, but with maybe a weak wave passing to our north, I can't rule out maybe a few snow flurries for a few spots. Otherwise, it's just going to be cold and cloudy for Super Bowl Sunday. But that's not the main story, though. Look at this upper low. Wanting to bring in another wave with rain and snow chances on Monday. Snow and sleet chances late Tuesday and possibly lasting into Wednesday. Then once we get past another wave with snow chances on Thursday, the crux of this upper low leaves us downright cold with Arctic air ready to surge in for Friday and Saturday. I'm going to focus on those first. 7 for Friday morning, 17 for Friday afternoon, dropping to 1 on Saturday before more sun at least gets us back into the 20s. Before we have to deal with that, Chris, we'll just stay cloudy and cold tomorrow with highs near 35, 38 Monday, and near 30 Tuesday and Wednesday.
I don't like that 1. I mean, unless you're trying to tell me that the weekends are number 1, I think we need to do something about that, Nick.
I know. I was not happy putting those numbers together, Chris, but I'll look over the latest models and see if I can bring those up a little bit later on.
Sounds good. Nick, thank you so much. Well, coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs arrive in Tampa Bay ahead of Super Bowl 55, plus a career milestone for Pitt State junior Tristan Gegg. Jacob Leonard has those details next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are at home tonight hosting the Lincoln Blue Tigers. On the women's side, the Gorillas aim to bounce back after a tough loss to Central Missouri on Thursday. That's the second meeting of the season between these two. PSU got the first one by 7. Kaylee DeMitt is cooking early. Got a guard her there. Demitz for three. Then, look at the footwork here for Demitz. She had 9 of the team's first 11, finished with 19. Second quarter, Sydney Crane. These plays matter, man. Crane hustles to get the offensive board, gets it to Aaron Davis for three. Crane and Davis each with 10 in the first half. Crane finished with 13. This game, though, features a little history. Tristan Gegg needs 7 to get to 1,000 career points. And that bucket there gets her there. Pitt State rolls over Lincoln 72-54. Gegg is the newest member of the 1,000 point club.
You can't think about that stuff while you're playing, so I was just kind of playing, and then at halftime they were like, "You got 1,000." I said, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool."
She can get to the rim quickly. She has a great first step, and I know that everybody knows her for her three-point shooting, but she really just does. When she's at her best, she's doing a lot.
In the men's game, Gorillas have been hot lately, trying to pick up their 5th straight win. Ryan Pippins, 26 last time out, gets to the rim here. Other end, Cameron Potts on the break, gets up and puts it down for Lincoln. He had 27 for the Blue Tigers. Antonio Givens going to work inside for PSU, plus the foul. Givens, career high 20 points tonight. Check this out, though. Right before the break, Martin Votes from way downtown. He beats the buzzer. Now, this one takes overtime, but PSU makes it 5 in a row, 85-77. The Missouri Southern Lions are also at home this evening with an MIAA doubleheader against Central Missouri. Now, the Southern women are trying to pick up back-to-back wins after getting by Lincoln on Thursday. Now, this one, a tough one for the Lions up against the 21st ranked team in the country. Early on, Olivia Nelson with the reverse. And here's Lane Skiles. Rattles around, but it goes. Lions keep it tight in the first. Charlie Bovaird gets it in from deep for the Jennies. Then Nija Collier. She went 3 for 3 tonight from the three-point line. Back to Skiles, though. She puts it in games within 10 at half. 21 points for Skiles. Back to Collier, though, in the third. She had 22. Other end, Anna Hall takes it in herself. Lions keep working, but Central finishes this one off 78-59. On the men's side, Lions look to sweep the season series against the Mules tonight. Stan Scott getting it started. Corner 3. And RJ Smith getting to the rim there for 2. For the Mules, it's Garrett Luenstra with the jumper as the shot clock sounds. Scott back to work, though, off the steal. Switching hands, getting it to go. Lions widening the lead. Second half, Cam Martin with 3. He puts up 29. Southern dominates this one. Final score 86-67. The Kansas City Chiefs have arrived in Tampa Bay. The Chiefs face the Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55 tomorrow night right here on KOAM. And when they hit the field tomorrow, it's going to be a big test for the Kansas City defense. Tampa Bay has the 2nd best passing offense in the league, averaging nearly 290 yards per game through the air.
Coach Spags brought a different type of energy to this defense, and we began to prevail in ways throughout the season. You know, I think this defense still haven't hit its peak yet. I still think we can improve on things, and I think we still can continue to get better.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Tonight on the KOAM News at 10, we'll have more on how the wedding industry is adapting to stay alive during the pandemic, plus more on sports donations being taken to help some baseball players, and some of the changes being made to the Super Bowl because of the pandemic. We got those stories and so much more coming your way tonight at 10. Final check of that forecast, Nick Kelly joins us.
We're going to wind down the snow tonight, Chris. Stay cloudy and cold tomorrow. Maybe a few flurries. Highs near 35, but down in Tampa, 72 at 5 o'clock, 60s for the rest of the game. Hopefully, good weather for the Chiefs to pull off another win.
Boy, I wish I was in Tampa today. Well, Nick, thank you so much. And that's our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. Our Super Bowl special, Run It Back, is up next. And our next news time is 9 o'clock over on Fox 14. And we'll see you back here at 10 on KOAM. Have a good night.